It was a cold winter night when Michael first heard it. A soft, deliberate knock on his apartment door. Knock, knock, knock. He froze, glancing at the clock. It was exactly midnight. No one ever visited him that late. His apartment was on the 7th floor, tucked away at the end of a silent corridor. Cautiously, Michael stepped closer, pressing his ear to the door. He expected to hear footsteps, breathing anything, but there was only silence. When he finally gathered the courage to peek through the peephole, his stomach twisted. There was no one there. The hallway was empty, bathed in the pale flicker of the emergency light. The next night, at the exact same time, the knocking returned. Knock, knock, knock. This time, Michael's heart pounded louder than the sound itself. He refused to look, burying his head under the blanket, forcing himself to believe it was just a prank. Yet deep down, he knew better. For 3 nights straight, the knocking came at midnight. Always 3 knocks, always patient, always waiting. And each night, when he checked, there was no one outside. By the 4th night, paranoia consumed him. Michael decided to set up his phone camera facing the door before midnight. He left it recording, determined to catch whoever or whatever it was. When the knocking came again, Michael trembled under his blanket, letting the camera do the watching. After minutes that felt like hours, he finally drifted into uneasy sleep. In the morning, he rushed to check the recording. His hands shook as he pressed play. The video showed his silent hallway. The clock hit midnight, and then knock, knock, but the door never moved. No one appeared in the hallway. Instead, the audio picked up a faint whisper right against the microphone. "Let me in." Michael's blood ran cold. The knocks weren't coming from outside. They were coming from inside the apartment. That night, he didn't sleep at all. Every shadow in his home stretched too long. Every creak of the floor made his skin crawl. He tried to leave, but when he reached the front door, the lock refused to turn. As if sealed shut. At 11:59 p.m., his phone screen flickered to life on its own. The camera app opened, pointing at his door. Michael dropped the phone in terror, but it stayed on, recording. And then, at midnight, came the 3 knocks. This time, he didn't even look. He ran to his bedroom, barricading himself with furniture, trembling in the dark. The last thing Michael remembers is the sound of his bedroom door creaking open. Even though he had locked it, neighbors reported that his apartment was found empty the next day. His belongings were untouched, the door still locked from the inside. All that remained was his phone, lying on the floor by the entrance. The final video showed him dragging furniture to block the door. Then 3 soft knocks. The screen went black. But if you listen carefully to the very end, past the static, you can hear it. Knock, knock, knock. Would you answer? On the edge of an abandoned town stood a house unlike any other. It had no windows, just solid walls of rotting wood and a single door in the front. Rumors said anyone who entered never returned. I should have left it alone, but curiosity is a cruel master. I opened the door. Inside, the air was stale, heavy with mold. The rooms were strangely bare, only doors leading to more doors. I tried to find a window, any view of the outside, but there were none. I opened one door, then another, and another. Each led to a room nearly identical to the last. Hours passed. My phone battery died. And still, I wandered. Then the rooms began to change. The walls leaned closer, the ceilings lowered. It felt as if the house itself was shrinking around me. The doors grew smaller, forcing me to crawl. The wood groaned with every breath, as if the entire structure were alive. And then I understood. The house wasn't built. It was born. It lured wanderers like me, fed on our fear, and trapped us in its endless halls. I tried to go back the way I came, but the front door was gone. The walls pressed closer. I screamed, but no sound carried beyond the suffocating wood. Somewhere in the dark, I heard other voices, faint, desperate, crying for release. The ones who had entered before me. Now, I am just another voice in the house with no windows. It was past midnight when I boarded the last train of the night. The station was nearly deserted, and the platform echoed with the sound of my own footsteps. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long shadows across the tiles. When the train arrived, the doors opened with a mechanical sigh. Inside, the car was empty. Not a single passenger sat in any of the rows. I chose a seat near the middle, trying to convince myself that the solitude was a blessing. But as the train moved, I realized something was wrong. The scenery outside the windows never changed. For minutes, then hours, I saw the same concrete tunnels, the same black walls flashing past. My phone had no signal. The time on the display didn't move, it remained stuck at 12:47. Then I noticed the glass. In the reflection, the seat behind me wasn't empty. A pale figure sat there, eyes unblinking, lips curled into a faint smile. I spun around nothing, but in the reflection, it was still there. Car after car. I ran, desperate for an exit. The doors wouldn't open. The emergency buttons did nothing. And every time I looked at the reflections, there were more passengers now. All pale, all silent, all watching me. Only later did I realize the truth. Years ago, this train had derailed in the very tunnel it now haunted. The passengers never left. Their souls rode endlessly through the night, waiting for someone new to join them. And that night, when I boarded, I became the last passenger.